Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another episode in the House of Moody Vintage podcast. Great to be back. It's a new week, new midweek of the middle of the hump. It's hump day. Wonderful, fantastic week I've had so far. The weekend was wonderful, and it was yet another weekend with no partying. I know. You know what I think? What happened is that it was 4 consecutive weeks of like going to the clubs and partying and all that stuff. And then now it's like the downhill part where it's just like cruise control, yes, there have been weekends where we got, we get a little tipsy. We enjoy a little, a bottle of Juan or 1 or 2 or 3 bottles and bottles of other stuff. Anyways, but which is of course, like I've said so many times, it's more of my pace. That's what I would rather be doing, is just chilling with my friends, having a few drinks, and things might just get a little cray-cray, we might get a little tipsy. No, we'll definitely get tipsy, but drunk is definitely on the agenda. So that's what's been happening the past couple of weekends. We've been, I've been acting my age, okay? I'm an older gentleman now. I've been eyeing and researching on some, retirement homes, thinking about Florida. I don't know. Won't think about that. That just reminded me, because I recently, again, if you follow me on Instagram, that I recently binged the shit out of Yellowstone. Only 2 seasons so far, 2 seasons. I got 2 more to go. And then of course, later in November is season 5. And I've been meaning to watch I'm going to talk about it a little bit more a little later, but just to give you a little preview of how amazing this show is to me, of course. Art is subjective, filmmaking and television shows is art, so you ain't got to agree with me, it's all good. But to me, Yellowstone is awesome, and I've heard so many good things from a lot of people, great reviews and so on and so on. So, and the show has been out for quite some time. Right, Yellowstone I think came out in 2018, I believe. Just doing a little quick checkup here. Pretty sure it's 2018. Yeah, 2018. And so it's on, it's on the Paramount Network. It's on the Paramount Plus streaming thing. God, there's so many goddamn streaming services. Like, why? We just ended up doing what we did, in the 90s, in the early 2000s, where we just freaking ended up getting cable. It's like digital. It's just all streaming digital cable thing. That's what it is. It's not that much of a difference, from what we used to deal with, what we used to have, and we had to pay crazy amount of monthly fees for a satellite dish. Remember those things? Satellite dishes. They're still around. I still see them. In town here and there, but yeah, just goddamn, it's so many goddamn streaming services. Anyway, so back to Yellowstone. It's a great freaking show, created by John Linson and Taylor Sheridan. Taylor Sheridan, he's one of my favorite filmmakers, and has been for quite some time. For those who don't know who Taylor Sheridan is, he's of course a filmmaker. He's a writer. He's a director. He's just awesome, and he's of course also he's acted in plenty of films as well. But just to run through his filmography so you guys know, I'm getting right into Yellowstone. I'm sorry. I'm so obsessed with the show right now. I'm just getting right into it and giving my thoughts and reviews on it. Fuck it. Just let's go with the flow, right? Let's go with the flow. The movie Sicario. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all seen that one. Okay, that was back in 2015. He wrote that film. So, and Sicario was just badass. It was amazing. Hell or High Water, another amazing film. Wind River. A lot of people didn't see that. I went under the radar, but I recommend you watch Wind River. That was great. Again, it's Taylor Sheridan's all over that. The Last Cowboy, which is a TV series. Without Remorse, Those Who Want Me Dead. Of course, Yellowstone, 2018. There is he's filming another show. Whoa, he's filming another show. He's filming another show called Tulsa King. That sounds very familiar. Why does that sound familiar? Yes, because Mr. Sylvester Stallone is in this TV show. Also on the Paramount Network. So clearly Taylor Sheridan has a deal going on with Paramount, so good for him. I think this takes part. Yes. Okay. So yeah. Okay. This is the synopsis basically. It follows an Italian mobster. Hello. Sylvester Stallone. Who's faced with the startling task of reestablishing his Italian mafia family in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Which is very realistic, and that's what Taylor Sheridan does, right? He gives it's so much authenticity in his creations, in his projects, and this is right up the alley. I mean, just fantastic. So he's the creator of that. Sorry, is he the creator? Yes, he is the creator of that show. Damn, he hit the jackpot. There's another one coming out called Lioness, which is in pre-production. There's another one called Landman. There's another one called Fast, and then 1923. Which I'm looking forward to. He also did 1883, which is a prequel to Yellowstone, I believe. I believe so, yes. So that takes place clearly in the 19th century, late in the 19th century, in Montana. So Yellowstone itself, it takes place in Montana. Although I think, I believe the first 3 seasons were shot, 75% was shot in Utah, and then 20-25% was shot in Montana, and now they've completely moved to Montana. So I think season 4 and season 5 is all Montana. And I looked up some things. I was researching certain things about the show, and this is which is common. I think everyone does it. You sort of Google things like, did this really happen, or did that happen, or where was this shot, and how was it shot, who was it? You want to feed your brain. There's so much knowledge there, and which I think is a pretty cool thing to do. So thanks to the power of Google, even though you have all our fucking private information and data. So I just looked up this article, and it said that Yellowstone was basically like a gift and a curse for the state of Montana, and especially where they were shooting, because the show itself has injected about $72 million so far, and they will continue to, because the show's continuing to be shot there. But the residents, native Montanians, I apologize. Anyone from Montana who's listening to this, I really apologize. The people of Montana, okay, the natives, not Native Americans, although yes, also the Native Americans. Of course, that's what this show sort of revolves around. Not just the family, the Dutton family, the Dutton Ranch in Yellowstone. But so the residents were saying that it's a gift and a curse because yes, it's fed into the economy, but at the same time, their housing has just shot up. It's like 24% increase from the year the show had started to now. So that's freaking crazy. I mean, that's not crazy in the standards of, let's say, if you're in New York or if you're from California, we've been dealing with rising housing prices for the decades. Okay, it's nothing new. But so Montana, so what's happened is now it's shot up. A house that you would get a really huge house, because especially in the Midwest, if you got money, trust me, you can get like acres of land and property, and the houses are freaking humongous because like I mentioned, you're not living in New York, you're not living in California, so the cost of living is not as high, and taxes are not as high, and so on and so on, right? It's just there's just more room also because the state of Montana is pretty big, So now what's happened is that rich ass people have come in and have bought so much property, and they've jacked the prices up because so many rich folks come in. And then once that happens, when you have rich affluent people, sort of adding to the town or the community, then prices just shoot up. The value goes up a lot. And there's this one lady who I think her daughter was looking for an apartment or something like that, for a 2-bedroom apartment, and it's like 3 times the rent now, which is it's crazy. So it's been a gift and a curse. So it's interesting to see, like, it doesn't affect us because we're in a, I'm in freaking Bangkok. I love my life here. It's the cost of living is incredibly affordable, right? And it's not just that. I've mentioned this before. I love Bangkok so much because it's like a beautiful blend between, history and tradition, and then the modern day metropolitan type of lifestyle. And you just mix that together. It's just I think it's an awesome, beautiful, beautiful mix. I guess you got to be here to see it and experience it. Not visit, but like actually live here, which I've been doing. And yeah, it's just a beautiful experience. So we don't see that. What people go through in Montana, we're not there, so we don't know. Unless, of course, you're in California and you already know the crazy, ridiculous price tags on these homes. It's crazy, but so it doesn't really affect us, people who are not in that situation. And then we're enjoying this show. Like I'm loving Yellowstone so fucking much. Like, of course, it's Taylor Sheridan's creation, but it's the storytelling. It's the how do I say that, the just the overall execution, right? I mean, the actors, of course, that's a given. It's a I would argue that it's a star-studded cast because there's a lot of familiar faces in there, and not just familiar faces, but they're really good freaking actors, right? Kevin Costner, of course, is the clear headliner. Luke Grimes, of course, Kelly Riley, a lot of familiar faces. Wes Bentley, Cole Hauser. So yeah, these people we've seen before, and they bring it. They bring a lot of gravitas into the performances. So fantastic. And so yeah, so we're sitting here enjoying these shows and movies, but then yeah, we really don't think about like the impact, not just in the box office or not just in TV ratings or for your subscribers or your just viewing ratings and things like that, but what's it doing to the community that they're in the location that they're shooting in. So yeah, it's just and in each city, each state has like have laws like filmmaking laws. There's like different caps of how much you can spend or how much you can allot and things like that. So that was another reason for Taylor Sheridan to go completely to Montana and bail on Utah. So yeah, but with that said, wow, I just went right into Yellowstone. I apologize. I wanted to talk about so many things. I guess I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna flip the script today. Usually when I talk about more personal stuff or experiences and events or whatever in the real world, and then I go into the fictional world and talk about TV shows and talk about movies and all that stuff. So my apologies. Let's do that. Let's do that for one episode. Let's why not? It's episode, what is it, 18? We're in 18. Wow, I've been doing this for 18 weeks. It's been 18 weeks. What? Okay. Wow. So if you look at that, it's a long time. But yeah, so we're gonna flip it. And with that said, I highly recommend watching Yellowstone. I'm still binging it. I got just finished season 2, so I got 3 and 4 to go. I'm just looking really forward to what's coming up next on that show. So amazing show. I love it. But so this got me to thinking about, so this is a game that I downloaded from my Xbox Ultimate Game Pass. It's called Trektiomi, and and it's an old school, like it's a samurai game, right? And it's presented as an old school sort of Kurosawa styled video game. So it's like you're playing a storyline. It's like you're just playing a film. You're watching a black and white samurai film, or grainy, or not necessarily black and white. I think there's also sort of that sepia kind of filter to it. Well, is it? No, it's pure black and white. I don't know why I thought that. Oh, maybe because the whole Western thing. So this just got me thinking, like Yellowstone got me thinking, there's so many other cool Westerns, classic Western films, of the past that are inspired by samurai films, which I grew up loving and watching. I fucking love samurai films. I love Kurosawa, all-time classics like Seven Samurai, Yojimbo, and movies like, Hidden Fortress, which was, of course, the direct inspiration to Star Wars. So yeah, there's so many films. Sorry, I've just got I zoned out right now on just the list of these amazing Kurosawa films and similar samurai films to his. It's the art of filmmaking, man. Just back in the day, even now, we see fantastic ones, but the old school samurai films are just not, you just can't compete with. It's just ridiculous. So that just got me to thinking, and then I was playing Trektiomi, and I was like, man, I miss those types of films. So Yellowstone brings a lot of that, those type of elements. And it takes place. Yellowstone isn't it's not like doesn't take place in the 19th century. It's it's modern day Montana, and some of these states still a lot of that Wild West, cowboy lifestyle. And when I say Wild West, I don't mean the South. So I'm not gonna have like a Texas tone to it, a little bit of Matthew McConaughey. So they're very much that cowboy life, and so I just I left it off for a while because I knew I was gonna like it. I didn't know I was gonna love it, and which I ended up doing. So I'm just like binging episode after episode. But so for those who don't know, Yellowstone is basically about a ranching family in Montana who are facing off against other encroaching parties, right, from their land. It can be controversial. Their perspective is very controversial. It's very old school. They're very traditional. They don't want to, they don't want to move with change. Change is inevitable, right? You're going to have to move on, because if you don't move on, you're going to be left in the past, and that's all you are, freaking history. So there's this family struggling with that, especially the patriarch of the family, who is played by Kevin Costner, John Dutton. John Dutton. I'm getting all Western around John Dutton. And so he's got kids, so which consist of 3 brothers, 1 sister, and it's sort of like Succession, but not really. I freaking love Succession, one of my favorite TV shows. But it does have that sort of that dynamic. The entire family's fucking toxic. They're rich ass people, and they're just sort of vying for their own position and things like that. They have their own agendas, they have their own ambitions. They're not really in sync with the family, the patriarch's sort of vision, you know what I mean? So it is very similar to Succession. It's just, it takes place out in the West, out in Montana, which is, a little bit northwest. Well, not completely northwest. That'd be more Washington and Oregon, but, so yeah, it's just, it's just some good shit, man. It just makes you want to be a cowboy. Or not, because, it's a very, a gray time, a very, sort of lawless time, in the old school days. Again, Yellowstone is not old school. It doesn't take place, centuries ago or anything like that, but, it does have a lot of those elements in it. So very much appreciate that. I'm just, looking forward to it. Anyways, enough about Yellowstone. Jesus Christ, I blabbered on about it. I saw the episode of the latest episode of, okay, here's another blast from the past. Another episode of Miss Marvel. She's, no spoilers, don't worry. But it takes place in a different timeline. Let me just put it that way. Okay. And, this really isn't spoilers. It's basically about the history and the origin story of Miss Marvel's powers and things like that. So, it goes back in time, goes back in the 40s, 1942, during the independence of India, the partition, of course, with Pakistan and India after, the British had left and carved up the whole goddamn place, everyone, with their own political agendas and bullshit. And, the family sort of, the families being torn apart and things like that, religion getting involved and all this stuff. And, they're just like, forget it. Forget being unified, right? Let's just start shit. Anyway, so you see a lot of that. You see a lot of, and they're bringing and I really appreciate that, because this show, yes, it's very South Asian. It has to be, understandably so. But it's also this is projected to an entire different audience who don't know the South Asian lifestyle, who don't know the South Asian American culture, so to see it represent, and of course to inject the history of, South Asia to a whole different audience, it gives them a perspective. I'll watch episodes, I'll watch videos on the John Campea show, things like that, where, they're talking about, I love how she is, I love the culture, and I love how she is with her mom, and it's, this part is relatable, that part is relatable, but I didn't know about this, and I really appreciate, learning about this part of the culture, and that. So that sort of that made my heart smile, because it's like, okay, these are people who don't know our culture, who have no knowledge of it. They just know obviously the service level, right? The Bollywood movie crap, all that stuff. Yeah, of course that's there. That's a huge part of who we are, but it's not all of it. There's so many other moving pieces, right? And so I think Miss Marvel gets that across, because I'm seeing these reactions from just white folk, like straight up white folk who are really enjoying this, and they're really into it. Like, you can tell, like, the way, whether it's John Campea or Robert Burnett, or whoever I'm watching on these shows, and they're just talking about, they're really analyzing it. They're really analyzing it and really appreciating it for what it is: the music, the costume, just the entire culture. So it's really cool to see that, and so I think it was very important to present that, the partition and all that stuff, during the independence and breaking up families and bringing in borders and things like that after the British left the place in disarray, basically, and which of course later on led to even more wars and other independences in South Asia. I think it was really important. I think it was tastefully done. I thought it was wonderfully done. Nothing cheesy about it, corny about it, nothing like that at all, I don't think. Again, from my perspective, I would call it out, to be honest, if that was the case. But that's why I'm loving Miss Marvel so much. I love the show so much because it brings so much joy. And I think that's the number one takeaway. And I've mentioned this so many times. You'll hear this from other, movie pundits, like actual movie pundits, and movie critics and things like that. They'll tell you, it just brings you joy. It just brings you a lot of joy. So it's a little sort of blast from the past on this episode. A lot of the old school elements in there as well, and I really appreciate it. I thought it was very well done. And so Miss Marvel was fantastic, and so many other shows to discuss, just not on the top of my head right now. Thor just came out. Love and Thunder came out today, Wednesday. So I am not sure when I will be able to see that. Maybe, I don't know, because it's Eid. It's Eid, it's Eid on Saturday. Well, over here in Thailand, it'll be on Saturday. But I was originally supposed to go watch it on Saturday, but now we're just chilling. We have plans to go out, usual suspects, of course, my Bangkok family and I. So I don't know. I'm even contemplating even now. Like, I don't know. And I'm supposed to hang out with with the usual suspects on Friday, because one of our friends is going back to Dhaka for a month or so. So he'll be gone for a month. And so, we're like, hey, let's fucking, let's do our usual weekend hang, usual wilding out, So that's gonna be on Friday. So I can't watch the movie on Friday. So I'm a little, I don't know. I'm thinking if I could sneak out tomorrow after work or something like that. I don't know. I got a lot of work, so I don't know if I'll be able to do that. Well, we'll see. Anyways, but I guess I'll have to end up watching on Sunday. Well, I do have a 4-day weekend. I have a Eid holiday 4-day weekend, so Sunday or Monday will do. Okay, well, all right, then that's what I'll do. I'll go watch Thor over the weekend on Sunday or something like that. Which is perfectly fine, because I shoot the episodes a little later in the week, midweek, right? So watch the movie, come back, give you my thoughts and reviews on it. I'm looking forward to Thor, Love and Thunder. I heard it was good, like really good, but not like great, maybe not as good as Ragnarok, I think. So that's what I've heard. I don't know, but I'll be the judge of that, of course. Like I said, film is art is subjective, so we'll get to that. Anyway, so there's something I wanted to really discuss. I totally forgot, because I got freaking balls deep into Yellowstone. So there's this actress. Okay, I know I'm like jumping all over the place here, but it just again, something triggered it. So there's this actress. Her name is Kelsey Asbille or Asbille. I don't know. I apologize. I've never seen this last name. It's very unique, and I love it. So her name's Kelsey, right? Now, she plays a character called Monica Dutton, right? Monica is supposed to be a Native American. There's a lot of, it's Montana, obviously, so, there's a lot of historical Native American elements in it, rightfully so, because that's why they're called Native Americans. They're the natives. So she plays, and for me, man, there are so many freaking beautiful Native American women, freaking beautiful, gorgeous, and it's not just Native American, like Native Canadians, wow, my mind's going blank. Indigenous people, thank you. Wow, thank you. Indigenous people who are freaking gorgeous, beautiful. It's almost as if they haven't been touched by history. Their beauty is just, it's crazy naturally beautiful. And so Kelsey is one of them. Now, what came to my disappointment was, man, I thought she was full native, because she is one of those, like, sort of, one of many people, not just, in the States, although it's more common in the States, who are racially ambiguous. You can't really tell, but you just assume. So just because she's she's on the show Yellowstone, I'm assuming she's completely 100% Native American. She's not. She's not even half. She ain't even half, cuz I was like, oh, it kind of broke my heart a little bit. It's like, just broke my heart. Sorry. You guys can't see it on YouTube, like giving a shape of a heart with my fingers, and it's breaking. See, like it's breaking. Anyways, so her dad is Chinese. How? If you saw her right now, you'd be like, yeah, Native American, bro, or at least Latina, right? Because obviously there's a lot of that mix. You have Native Americans who who've got that old school blood to the Aztecs and stuff like that. So Latina makes sense. You would assume, oh, she's Latina. Okay, no, she little Latina. No, she's not. She's not. Her dad's Chinese, right? Her mama is she's white. Okay, but you see, so she's her mom's half white and half like Native American. I think that's what it is. Yeah, so she's quarter Native American, quarter. Now that's not the but so my thing was, like, I mean, look, the show is really authentic. It's very authentic, I think, in my opinion, from what I know. Okay, so it's just she quarter Native American, but she looks so Native American. It's almost as if her quarter Native American is so strong that it's just like she looks the part, and she's a fantastic actress, of course, but she is drop dead gorgeous, crazy beautiful. And it just made me think of, like, I don't know any Native Americans personally. I wish I did. Anyways, she's freaking beautiful. I couldn't take my eyes off her when she hit the screen. Amazing. And so, yeah, it's a common thing. It's a common thing in the States, especially when you're like you're in your own little bubble. You don't know much outside that bubble, and this is very common in the States, right? Because we're so surrounded by so many different people from different walks of life. We grew up in these multicultural environments, and hell, I was racially ambiguous for quite some time, believe it or not. People in high school couldn't figure out where the hell I'm from. My Middle Eastern friends thought I was from the Middle East. My Desi friends obviously knew I was South Asian. They knew, right? That's, I mean, if you don't know your own race, that's a little iffy. Like, how you gonna go about that, right? But I mean, and also, if you grow up in a predominantly Caucasian town and there's only literally a handful of like South Asian families, everybody knows everybody. Okay, ain't nobody know nobody. You know what I mean? Like, that person. Okay. So, but outside of that circle, like people didn't know what I was. For the longest time, my Middle Eastern friends, they were like, dude, what? After they found out, this was like years later, they're like, what? You're from Bangladesh? What? You're Bangladeshi, bro? What? Dude, I thought you were Middle Eastern. I thought you were Arab. I'm like, man, have you ever heard me speak Arabic? Ever? I've never even said assalamu alaikum, to anybody. I'm like, Habibi, have you ever heard me say anything in Arabic? No, of course not. So I'm not from the Middle East. So, yeah, so I've had those run-ins too. People thought I was like mixed or some shit like that. Dude, Mexican people thought I was Mexican. They would just start speaking Spanish. I mean, I understood Spanish, but I wasn't like at the time I wasn't fluent in it. It took it. So they would just start speaking Spanish to me. I'm like, yo, and I'd be like, yo, I don't know nothing. So you got to speak English with me. Habla no español. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know this. What are you talking about? That wasn't Mexican. I just went Puerto Rican for some reason, or Dominican. I don't know. I get blurred sometimes. But so yeah, and then there's just what I wanted to say is what I wanted to highlight was a stupid ass story, which I don't know why I thought of it just at near the end of the episode, is the appreciation of mixed races. I think it's so beautiful, man, to see that. I think it's so goddamn beautiful. I get jealous sometimes. Like, I wish I was mixed, But you look at these mixed as people, not just women, of course, or men, of course, as well. These mixed race kids, man, they're so fucking beautiful. They're gorgeous, man. And I'm not gonna lie, something a little bit in me, like I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, maybe, I want mixed kids, I don't even know if I'm ever gonna have kids, but I would love to mix kids. I wouldn't mind having a Native American, get married to a Native American, have kids with her, because they're beautiful as well. Hell, you know what I'm saying? All women are beautiful, okay? Doesn't matter where they're from, I don't discriminate, clearly I'm attracted to crazy, apparently, I don't know, but, they're going to be, usually they're attractive. No, most of actually, no, they're always attractive. I don't want to toot my own horn here, but, I haven't been with an unattractive one. You know what I mean? They've all been crazy though. All been crazy. But they're beautiful. Beautiful young ladies, which I still have respect for. 100%, absolutely. They just need help. Just not from me. Because I'm not your therapist. I love you though. I have very good relationships with all my exes except one, maybe. Yeah, just one. That's a whole different story. We're not going to go there. That's not for the public ears or eyes. That's between me and my friends, very close friends, who have criticized me for. Anyways, well, I'm just diverting out of the positivity and the excitement that I brought into this episode. Apologies. That's all I have for you guys today here on another episode of the House of Moody Vintage podcast. I'm sorry. I honestly did not plan on to go on a 15-minute rant about Yellowstone, but I love the show so fucking much, and I highly recommend y'all go see it. Okay, it's fantastic. Watch it, go see it somehow, because it's on Paramount Plus. I get it, not everybody wants to have 15 different freaking 16 different streaming platform services, whatever, and it's not cheap. All right, I'm looking at you, Netflix. Recently, putting up the prices. It's like $20 now, $20 a month now for the family package, which I have because it has ultra high definition quality and all that other features that I appreciate, that I love. It's $20. It was inevitable. I talked about this on Instagram. I went on no, it wasn't really a rant. It was just explaining why Netflix has done this. So I'm not going to go over it again. But it was inevitable. And don't be surprised if there's ads coming soon to the shows you watch or stream on Netflix. It's going that way. Anyways, I had a good time with this episode, mainly because, it's things I really loved about talking about. And I appreciate you guys hanging around and listening to me babble. I apologize. I wish it was a bit more of personal life stories that I wanted to share, but I don't want to bore you guys to death, and this episode's already run its course. It's actually going over the time limit. I didn't want to go this long. But, yeah, well, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it, whether it's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, of course, and on YouTube. Thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, and no, not hopefully, I'm pretty damn sure next episode there's going to be some really good, juicy stories. I'll tell you about the time where I was single for 11 straight years. That's right. Oh, that's right. I'm gonna leave you with that cliffhanger. Okay, from the age of 20 years old to 31, I was single. Okay, there were a couple of escapades here and there, but nothing to the point where you would consider it a hookup or, let's say, getting in a relationship. No relationship for 11 years. I'll get to that. Maybe I'll talk about that next episode. I don't know. Hang around. You might find out. All right. Until then, hope you guys have a great time. Please take care of yourselves and treat yourselves. Okay? Treat yourselves. You earned it. You worked hard for it. Just enjoy life. Okay? As much as you can. We're all struggling. You know what I mean? But some of us maybe more than others. So, putting all that positive energy and good vibes out there. Until next time. I'm out. Peace.